stuff out of me that didn't need to be there. He changed me. When I was the black sheep of the family, he showed me as evidence of what Jesus could do. When they said that you be nothing but you're no good at daddy, when they said that you be just like you're no good at mama, now you're the example of what Jesus can do, because you were the thug of the family. You were the black sheep of the family. You were the one that everybody said would never amount to anything. They said that you were a lost cause, but he took a lost cause and he changed you and made you the cause.
Yes, Lord.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
He changed you.
That's good stuff, Reverend.
Hallelujah.
Go ahead and sit down. Sit down. So what are these seeds? What are these seeds? Number one is contentment. And I want to give you a definition of contentment. A definition I have is never allowing your goods to spoil by outside forces. So contentment. At the root of the word contentment is content.
Yes, sir.
So if you have a jar, see, this is what contentment is. Contentment is knowing how to be happy in any state you're in. So in Philippians 4:11, he said that I've learned in all ways to be content.
Yes.
No matter what shape, what environment I'm in, I still know how to be content. Whether I have money or don't have money, I'm content. Whether I have a house or an apartment or a shack, I know how to be content, because I know that things can change at any moment because of he that I serve. Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. So I know how to be content. Why am I content? Because of the root word of contentment is content. I want you to think about a jar that's filled with contents. And see, this is when you know you're content, because when you fill with the contents or the substance of what's inside of you, then you're protected, that no matter what I put you in, the contents on the inside can't be spoiled by outside forces. That's contentment. When the stuff that he's put inside of you can't be spoiled by stuff that's on the outside, because what's inside of you is greater than what's going on the outside. As a matter of fact, I just open up the contents of the lid, open up the lid and spill out the contents and change everything around me. See, when you don't become infected about everything that's around you, all you gotta do is just open up your mouth and lift up the lid off of your mouth and open up that jar and begin to release the contents over your life. If you don't like the state that you're in, open up your mouth and say, Lord, change it. Open up what's inside of me and pour it out all over me.
Hallelujah.
Contentment. I'll allow the contents that's inside of me to not be spoiled what's going on outside.
Hallelujah.
So it is with contentment that it produces these particular fruits: gentleness, love, joy, and peace. So contentment is the seed that produces these fruits: gentleness, love, joy, and peace. Joy is a happiness that's not connected to this world. Joy is a happiness that's connected to God. It is an eternal joy. It is an eternal happiness. This gentleness. See, when you're content, you can be gentle. You know how to treat your fellow man. You know how to treat your brother. You know how to treat your sister, because you're not angry and bitter about what you don't have, because you're content, because you know that you serve the King of Kings who owns 1,000 cattle on a hill. You know who you serve. When you're content with Christ, I'm telling you right now, it begins to change your perspective. The reason why people are so bitter is because they're not content.
Come on.
That seed hasn't been planted inside their spirit. They have no contentment. They're saved and they love God, but they're still not content with who he's made them to be. They're still struggling with it. And it's not for us to look down on them. It's for us to encourage them, because they're at a vulnerable state. Because if you don't get these seeds inside of you, you can't produce any fruit. And if you don't see that there's any progression in your walk with Christ, you begin to lose source of its usefulness.
My God.
So many people, I remember when I joined this ministry in 1995, and I've seen so many people come and so many people go. And I used to ask, why don't I see brother so-and-so anymore? Or why don't I see sister so-and-so anymore? But this gives me to understand that people that come to church don't necessarily participate in church. And if you don't see any type of usefulness in this walk with God, pretty soon it becomes less and less valuable for you. And when something becomes less and less valuable for you, it's easy for you to drop it and let it go.
That's it. That's right.
That's the reason why people get saved this month, and 6 months later they're back out, strung out on drugs, because they didn't see the usefulness. See, it is not for us to come to church. The worst thing that we can do is to get you saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, and filled with nothing but hype. If we don't sit you down and teach you and train you on the Word of God and how to rightfully divide the Word of truth, when we have done a disservice to you. It is for us to teach you on how to have these seeds poured into your spirit that you can produce this fruit. Because when you start producing fruit, you won't get away from the vine, because the Bible says that He is the true vine. So when He gets a hold of you and you start producing fruit, you won't be persuaded to fall away from Christ, but you'll fall in love with Him each and every day. But what we do in church, we've mastered getting you saved and not getting you in relationship. We've mastered being the one to lead you to Christ and then drop you off where He could be your only friend. See, that's the reason why we have to, ladies and gentlemen, get back into friendship, actually being brothers and sisters in Christ, not just in word, but really in deed, that we're checking on our brothers and sisters. It is for us to be calling one another, hey bro, hey sis, how's it going? How's everything been going? Because you never know who's going through what, and we're leaving people out here to struggle by themselves, and that's the reason why people are falling away and why church sizes are dwindling, because people are feeling like, why am I in a church and still feeling all alone? Some people get swallowed up in a big church. That's the reason why we have to take a big church and make it a small church, by making it localized. We need to find people that we don't know that's out of our comfort zone, people that we may not know and have not fellowship with before. It is for us to try to befriend them and try to get to understand them and get to know them, that they feel that they're connected, and not only connected, but to hold them to a place of accountability. We are not a cult that we're trying to get into your life, but we are a family that we're trying to keep you connected. See, the thing is that if I say I'm connected to you, but I never have a touch on you, then I'm really not connected. So if you do what you do it by yourself. But when you're connected to someone, what they do affects you. See, that's the reason why we have to have a church that's connected, that we are in fellowship with one another. Because when they hurt, I feel it. When I hurt, they feel it. But when nobody's connected, nobody's accountable, and everybody's doing their own thing, and pretty soon we have a whole bunch of followers and not too many believers.
Amen. That's good.
We can't keep filling the church on the multitude, because the multitude can only follow Jesus by what they see. But a real true believer goes by what has not been seen, because they believe. See, that's what we've been doing wrong, ladies and gentlemen. We've been trying to build churches based on followers. People that follow the signs, people that follow Him. As long as He's blessing, as long as He's operating in miracles, as long as He's doing signs, miracles, and wonders, they can follow Him. But as soon as He said, eat of my flesh and drink of my blood, that's when they begin to back, because no longer could they follow. This required you to believe.
Amen.
See, when Jesus changes the requirements, what is your response? There comes a time when Jesus will change the requirements. That's a message all by itself. He will change the requirements. He brought you in as a follower. But if you're going to come into discipleship, you have to become a believer. He asked Peter, he tested Peter. Peter, who do they say that I am? Some say that you're Beelzebub, some say this. But he says, yeah, I say that you're the Son of God. He said to Peter, flesh and blood has not revealed this to you. That's because Peter transformed from being a follower to a believer. Amen. See, the reason why the man of God gets tired is because he's too busy. Because the thing is that he's surrounded by followers when he needs people that are going to be able to lift his hands who believe. The man of God should not be tired. He should not be weary. He should not be down in his body. He should not sit there and be stressed out. Because if we believe and we are connected, we should be connected to the vision. And when his arms get tired, we are lifting him up.
Amen.
Come on.
Number 2, consistency. Doing the same thing the same way, but watch this, with the same spirit.
Amen.
Consistency is doing the same thing the same way with the same spirit. One of the biggest struggles that we will ever have in our life is with that one word, consistency. Because we go through so many highs and lows, ebbs and flows, and it becomes harder and harder each time, because when you keep hitting low points, it takes so much time to get back to stability.
Amen.
And so that's one of the biggest battles and the biggest fights that even I have with my life is consistency. Doing the same thing all the time with the same spirit. Having an hour of prayer each and every day that you're committed to. Having a fellowship time with God each and every day that you're committed to. Having a relationship with the Lord each and every single day. Being able to be counted on all the time, not falling off. Consistency, even in your daily life, even in your workplace. The reason why we'll get bad reviews is because of inconsistency. One day you're like this, the next day you're like that, but you still want your money to be the same. Inconsistencies will rob you of your life. I had a manager long years ago. That brought me into her office, and she was not only like a manager, but she was like a mentor and a mother as well. She was one of those ones that if she tell you to shut the door, you know it's gonna be hot. And so she bring you into the office, she's like, push the door up. She look at me, she's like, preacher, let me tell you something. One of your biggest problems is inconsistency. She said that I could promote you and take you to other places that you've never seen. But if you can continually be inconsistent, how can I trust you for the promotion when I can't even trust you in the present state? So how can God trust you with the promotion if you're so inconsistent in your present state right now? If he still can't get you to fast on a consistent basis, if he still can't get you to have rule over your own spirit on a consistent basis, if you still can't keep your mouth closed because you continually have to tell somebody off or give somebody a piece of your mind, if you still don't know how to understand that vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, if you still don't understand how to hold your peace and let the Lord fight your battles, if you still are not understanding these things, sometimes you're doing it, but other times you're not. You haven't come to the place of consistency. No more going up and going down. But I want to go on a steady track up. I want to go from faith to faith and from glory to glory. I'm trying to go up, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not trying to keep going down. And that's what inconsistency does. Because the thing is that inconsistency is this. It's a power grab between God and the enemy. God is trying to raise you up and the enemy is trying to pull you back down. And sometimes you allow yourself to be in the hands of the enemy, and sometimes you allow yourself to be in the hands of God. When you can look, how do I know this? Because sometimes you can look at your life and see yourself moving up. Things are beginning to change. Things are beginning to transform. Things are looking good. You're fasting and you're praying and you're seeking the face of God. Then all of a sudden you get a little bit of church hurt and you put yourself back into the hands of the enemy. And now you're holding art in your spirit against your brother, your sister. Or now you're not coming to church because you're so angry with somebody who did something so petty to you. See, the thing is that you can't be saved and still holding on to petty. This ain't love and basketball. This is faith in Christ Jesus, ladies and gentlemen. There are no basketball wives in here. We can't be sitting here fighting and being petty all the single time. Every time somebody says something, you ready to pop off. You a hothead. You've been in the church 10 years and you still can't keep your mouth closed. You still